Welcome to the Self-Help Coaching Podcast, where insights, attitudes, and methods for success get illuminated. Learn what leaders and change workers have done and are doing now to create magnificent futures. We interview great guests who inspire you to overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. Be sure you visit our website at self-helpcoaching.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, just relax as you listen. You can do something else, but be ready to make an important note. And let's get started.
The title of this interview is Self-Hypnosis Made Easy with AlphaMind. Our guest is Elena Mosaner.
Hello.
Hello, Elena. She is an International Coach Federation, ICF, certified professional coach, National Guild of Hypnotists, NGH, certified hypnotherapist, and book author. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in creative writing and film, as well as a Master of Science degree in executive coaching and organizational behavior. Throughout the last 15 years, she has worked with celebrities and professional athletes and high-level executives, and she has helped more than 1,000 people transform into their best version using hypnosis therapy and coaching. Mosaner sees clients from all over the world online via Zoom and holds self-hypnosis and personal growth workshops a few times a year. She was featured by the New York Times, New York Post, and ABC GMA as one of the top NYC hypnotherapists. She is a founder of AlphaMind Self-Hypnosis app. And I love that because you're a founder of AlphaMind. I'm a founder of Proficio. So we got some serious things in common.
Yeah.
These are revolutionary apps. But ladies and gentlemen and others, I give you Elena Mosaner.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Tony. And really nice to meet you. Excited about this.
Me too. I have been following you for a couple of years now, really intrigued by your work and saying, I've got to talk with her at some point. Well, we'll finally doing it, and it's really great. And I'm gonna segue and introduce self-hypnosis with a little anecdote. I first got turned on to NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, in the 90s, and I wanted to get certified, but that waned. It just didn't happen, right? And then I didn't lose interest in NLP, but my determination to get certified waned. But I did some education with a master practitioner of NLP for some time, and then I moved on with my life, and life happened. And he sent me some self-help courses in the mail, mostly from Nightingale Conant. One of them was a self-hypnosis self-help home study course called Hypnology by Dick Sutphin. And I had it for some years, never even took the cellophane off. And then I started smoking again. I went 8 years without a cigarette. I said, no, this ain't happening. I said, I'm going to take this course. Finally, he blew the dust off it, took the cellophane off. I said to my friend, I'm going to do this self-hypnosis course. You want to do it? Yeah, he wanted to do it with me. It was a fantastic success, at least for the smoking, I think. But a point is that for me, it was a great success, but for him, not so much. I think that's an important thing I wanted to talk to you about. About how there are differences in the subject, right? And what it's not. I don't think it's when self-hypnosis or hypnosis doesn't work. It's not necessarily the hypnosis. It just may be the person. Without putting blame. We're not putting blame because if I'm not mistaken, you tell me. You're the one. You know a million times better than I do. If I'm not mistaken, all hypnosis is truly self-hypnosis. Do you?
I disagree with that.
You disagree? Okay.
Okay. The thing is, there's a lot of saying around hypnotherapy and schools and hypnosis that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, or that we cannot be hypnotized against our will. These are just like those little stamps right now. And students of hypnosis often quote that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. But what do you really mean by that? If you really, really think about it, is it really self-hypnosis? No. First of all, we need to identify what hypnosis is, what self-hypnosis is, right? If you really think.
Let's do that. Okay, let's get it in the right sequence. What is hypnosis, Elena?
So hypnosis is, we can look at hypnosis from two viewpoints. First is a process viewpoint, another one is a state viewpoint. You know how sometimes people say, you know, hypnosis is a special state of mind, altered state of consciousness. There's an assumption there that it's a special state. And then people say something like that, something like, you know, you can't hypnotize me to do those crazy things. So that means that hypnosis is a process of making somebody do something, right? So I like both viewpoints are fine, but I really prefer the process viewpoint, meaning that hypnosis is a process of downloading ideas in somebody's mind so that you can make them do something, right?
Yes.
So that you can make them change their mindset, their behavior. So, for example, Instagram can be considered hypnosis. It's a process, right? It's influence. Hypnosis is influence. You're influencing somebody's mind. We're influencing a live being. We're not influencing a toy. We're not influencing a tree. Although maybe there's a possibility to influence a tree in ways that you know, you can water it. Right. You water it, you take care of it. But we're really talking about the mind as somebody who has ideas and a certain behavior, like a human being's mind. So we can influence the mind, right? We can influence a human being to act in a certain way. In a hypnotherapeutic setting, my job is to use these amazing tools and processes to help you change behavior and mindset, right? For positive, for better. There are things and, you know, devices, institutions that actually change your behavior, you know, advertising agencies, there are all sorts of political institutions.
Outside forces influence our states, our behaviors, and
Exactly. And they use different tools, amazing, you know, incredible, sophisticated processes. So that's a process. That is a process.
Let me go back to that story of, you know, taking this self-hypnosis course. I didn't get everything I wanted out of the goals I had set for myself, but I was in terms of the cessation of smoking, it worked like a charm. I don't think
worked well.
I don't think anything worked as well, because I mean, it was on the deepest level. I mean, I'm a non-smoker on the deepest level.
And you did it yourself.
Did it myself. The other guy didn't get any of his goals. Okay, so the point that I bring that up is what's the difference between the two of us? I mean, he's an intelligent person. He had the wherewithal to do the course on his own volition, but he didn't get the results the good result. I mean, I got a great career out of it. I went back into NLP, and now I'm a coach, and now I'm a head of a technological coaching company, you know, and I quit smoking. He didn't get anything. So,
I'm going to tell you why.
Oh,
this is a really good question, and it's something to really, you know, to talk about. But first, I want to finish the point about self-hypnosis, how all self-hypnosis is not self-hypnosis only because of that influence, right? The outside influence that is influencing you, and you are kind of being hypnotized against your highest well-being sometimes because your buttons are being pressed. So to say that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, I'm not sure about that. You know, you're not using your volition sometimes, or your highest, you know, thinking, you know, I'm going to do this because it's so good for me, for my family, my future. Sometimes people do crazy things because outside influence is making them do those things. So I don't think it's all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Sometimes it's outside influence. So that's just to finish my point. Now, to talk about the differences between you and your friend. Well, I can hear that you had a determination. You just wanted to stop, right? And you also believed in the process. So this is like when my clients come to me, and especially with smoking cessation, if somebody comes to me and says, I want to stop smoking, and I really ask them, so do you really want to stop smoking for good, for the rest of your life? I'd like to. Okay. So, I mean, and then I say, we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. So the intention, if you really hear the intention behind it, is I don't really want to stop, but let me see how it works. If it's not going to work.
There wasn't determination there.
Right. So you need to have a first core intention. I want to stop. I just can't because there's so many triggers. I feel like smoking, and I get nervous and anxious. Can somebody help me work through this? You know, but I really, truly want to stop. So that's the difference. You truly wanted to stop. Maybe your friend didn't really want to stop.
Right, but he had other goals as well. But I think that I'm not challenging you at all. I think that, but I think there's that the desire, it seems to me the desire to make the change is perhaps the most important thing, or to be
Challenge me. I want you to challenge me because I like challenges.
okay.
So yes,
I
desire
think,
is important.
I think that's what I had in spades.
Uh-huh.
He did not have in spades. I wanted to make the changes. I
Well,
wanted
maybe there's something else. Maybe you know, focus is important. There are lots of different things. Maybe you were able to really focus right on the goal and focus on the process, listen carefully. That's another thing. Desire, focus. Sometimes, you know, there's an ability to focus, an ability to follow instructions. You know, for the success of hypnosis, you have to follow instructions. Just like in the ClickFunnels, you know, you follow instruction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You bought something, you know, you quickly follow the instruction. So as a hypnotist, I give you a very clear set of instructions, right?
right.
And I make sure that my client follows it. If they don't, I know they don't. I make sure that I come back and then follow that instruction. Okay.
I think that that's a very important distinction that you've made. Following instructions. I found that when I follow instructions, I tend to get the outcomes that you're supposed to get. And when I don't, when I want to, you know, add my commentary, delete that, add that, you know, and just change the instructions, not so much. It's so, and I'm an ex-soldier, I'm an ex-combat soldier, and we're trained to follow instructions, right?
Wow,
And
wow.
you follow instructions, you get that. So I have an early training in that to see the value of that. But
I've seen
that so many times in life. And now I value that so much that when I, in hiring people for my company, that I put, you know, I'm saying I'm looking for this position or that position, and I have some instructions, some simple instructions out there. When people don't follow instructions, that disqualifies them to me, because that is so indicative of a personality. Or you know, do they tend to be successful because they followed instructions, not you know, any subservient way, but just because this is how you get this outcome.
Exactly. You're right. You're absolutely right. And also, you know, as a leader in the position of a leadership, you also need to know, just as you said, how to follow instructions. So to become good at what you do, to become a very good hypnotist, you have to be hypnotized many times by other people. So you really have to be in that position of being able to follow instructions so that you can provide those same clear instructions when you work with someone.
So we're in agreement that following instructions is actually a very important thing. And it's right. And it's not, I think that it's really, I think, you know, I don't think it's a matter of intelligence necessarily, but I think it's a matter of ego, where a person, you know, and I'm not, you know, a part of ego that I'm referring to is that's inflated, that a person, oh, I don't have to follow the instructions because I'm X, I'm Y, you know, I can distort the instructions because I can do that. But if we were humble, you know, if we were more humble, we say, well, this is the instructions and this is the outcome. Follow, right? So
I agree with you too. It is part of it, could be ego. That's why sometimes you hear people say, I can't be, I'm not hypnotizable. And most of the time it's because they really don't want to follow somebody's lead. You know, they are afraid of not being in control. So again, when working with clients, I make sure that I treat them equally, that I explain to them what hypnosis is, that we are on the same page and they know exactly how it works. I teach them how it works so that they feel comfortable and they're able to follow these instructions, come out on the other side. And then they're like, wow, that feels great. I can do it again, you know, with myself or, you know, other people or situations, you know, just giving a little bit like a manual.
So there are better hypnosis subjects than others, but can anyone be hypnotized?
Anybody can be hypnotized, just like what we're talking about. If you're willing to follow the instructions of the hypnotherapist, you're able to be hypnotized. There are times when somebody's not able. It's maybe in they haven't slept well, they're not able to focus, maybe they're scared, which is my job to really talk to them and explain to them that hypnotherapy is a natural process. Hypnosis is a natural process. It's all around. We're hypnotized by our environment. I'm just going to show you the tools. So then they, you know, the fear subsides usually. But yeah, anyone can be hypnotized, as they say, with normal intelligence or above. You can be hypnotized. There are some ideas that some subjects are less hypnotizable than others in some studies. I personally think that anybody can be hypnotized because the world is hypnotizing us.
Very often I find myself being hypnotized and just involuntarily, I just find myself in a state of, like hyper focus and hyper relaxation at the same time. Like, and then when I think about it, I'm like, what? Then I get myself out of this state
Yeah.
because I went meta, but I was, like, whoa, I was just really in like a kind of a trance. I
Yeah.
love that because I find
Yeah.
myself very
Yeah.
efficient and effective when I'm in those states.
That's great. That's great.
So let's take a quick moment to hear from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
This episode of Self-Help Coaching is brought to you by Proficio. When people learn something, they want to use it, so it has real value. And the best teacher is experienced. Visit www.proficio.io. That's PERFICIO.io, where Proficio will have you taking action with what you're learning immediately. You'll be closer to your goals before you even realize it.
You're listening to the Self-Help Coaching Podcast, and we're here with Elena Mosaner. Wait, did I say it right? Mosaner.
Mosaner.
Now that's your married name. What was your maiden name, if you don't mind me asking?
I was known by the name Beloff. That was my name before.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's cool because that was like I think it was like associated with a vampire or something, as if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that's just Bela Lugosi. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
But very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, as I said at the beginning, we're talking about self-hypnosis with Elena, but I also mentioned at the beginning that a certain little app called AlphaMind, which has a lot to do with self-hypnosis. So let's talk about your app AlphaMind, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that in 3 easy steps you can create customized recordings for change and behavior and mindset with this app. Is that correct?
3 simple instructions. Exactly. You can create your own customized sessions. So you choose a relaxation technique, and then you choose your affirmations from our library, or you can design your own. 10 affirmations, you record them in your voice, choose music or no music, any background sound like white noise or binaural beats, and that's it. And then literally in seconds, you receive your customized session with the relaxation technique, affirmations read in your voice with music. And it's a 20-minute session, and in so many different areas you can be hypnotizing yourself.
So you offer different areas, or a person can customize their own. Is that
both? Yes. So we have, I can't remember how many scripts. So there's 100 scripts, I think, and it's growing. The library is growing, and yes, and you can edit those scripts as well to suit your needs, and then you can design your own. You can just type them up and then read them as you record them.
Wow. So when did you first start working on AlphaMind?
Well, AlphaMind, we released it to about 1.5 years ago. So we started working on it 2 years ago. It took about 6 months to develop it. And then I really started working on it in some sense 15 years ago when I started making tapes. It was just an idea. I started making tapes to hypnotize myself. And then as the world started changing and the technology started improving, I thought that, everybody's using apps. I thought it has to be a better way, an easier way to create those sessions, as opposed to, well, obviously no one's using tapes anymore. They did 15, 20 years ago, but people use voice memos to record affirmations. Sometimes people use their fridge to put affirmations. And sometimes some people who can use GarageBand or software, they can use GarageBand, which takes time. This app really helps you create it so much easier, so much quicker. And besides, you get the library of affirmations that we have already designed. So to answer your question, when did it start? A long time ago as an experience. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I started really thinking through it. And 3 years ago, I put it together on paper.
Right. I mean, it was just the nature of our technology. We live in very exciting times, if nothing more than because of the technological advances, primarily digital, but all of them. And I have a very similar experience, Elena. When I began my life coaching practice, I had written in my business plan this idea for this virtual coaching program. Because I saw that's the way to go is using digital technology. It's so much, you can serve so many more people in a leveraged way, and as a business model, you can't beat it, right? So as a change worker, you can reach so many more people, but as a business model, it's the best. So
Yeah.
and then so that was I had written down the rudimentary idea of it. That was 2014,
Mm.
and then I began work on it in 2015, an alpha test with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, okay, well, that doesn't work at all. It took years of retooling it, and then in 2018 we formed a company, Auxilium, and now we really got to work because we got an investor, and now we have to really work, and we're going to launch it soon. So the point is that when something like this, people hear about an app. Okay, this is a self-hypnosis app, or this is a virtual coaching program app. People think that that they can think of it so simplistically, but it really is so much behind it to make these things
There's
work.
a lot, then testing and trying, improving. What is exactly your app? I'm sure it's a website too, or just an app?
Oh, it's both. Yeah. Well,
It's
it's it's not. It's so funny. My partner, my partner is the technology director of the company.
Yeah.
He said when we first started, he said you should put this on mobile phones. I'm like, nah, I don't know about mobile phones.
Yeah.
It's not made for mobile phones. This is a game changer for self-help, for personal development. This is not an app that you get in the app store. This is an expensive thing. Person will really revolutionize their life. He's like, this needs to be an app. This needs to be on a phone. And he's absolutely correct, because that's
the future. That's the future.
For me personally, and I don't want to talk about me so much. This is about you. 15 years ago, nobody heard of a smartphone. Now almost everyone has one, and I predict that everyone's going to have Proficio. That's my app.
Tell me just in like literally a couple of sentences, so I want to really understand the virtual coaching. Does it mean that you have robots coaching, people coaching, text messages? What is it? Who's coaching?
Yes, it's a robot, right? It's not a person. It's not a proxy.
Okay.
That's the big distinction. That's the big distinction. There's coaching apps are becoming popular, but they're all proxies. It's a phone, a smartphone between you and your therapist or your coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what Proficio does at all. Proficio automates it, makes it a computer program is your coach, and it's totally customized. This is the world's first true self-help coach, because it's a person being helped by a computer. It's always been a misnomer before this, because it was always
interesting, because computers are actually very strategic and clear. There's no place for fault, as much as humans have errors, but computers are much more instructional. And I think as an addition, it's good. It's always good to have a live person to work on, but as an addition, as something quick, it would be great for me to have to just get clear on something. That's what I'm getting from your app, but I get more focused and clear, like if I use your coach.
Absolutely. The computers are the way of the future, but there's nothing like the human element that you also alluded to. And indeed, in working with a real hypnotherapist, it's probably not as great as it's not. Working with a real hypnotherapist is probably the best application of hypnosis a person can get, because you're nuanced, you detect everything in real time, as opposed to a computer program, which is not as advanced as to do all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But that's improving. That's my
yeah.
And indeed, my program, Proficio, we have all sorts of plans for its evolution, iterations. We plan on having holograms,
That's great.
wearables, and then in the future, you're gonna love this, Elena. In the future, implants. Now, I wouldn't get the implant. I don't want anything in my body, but there are lots of people who would do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of them.
Something with Neuralink. Neuralink has some sort of.
Neuralink. That's Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
He's awesome. He become one of my icons. I've had.
Yeah.
As I become, the head of a company, because I'm not really a coach anymore. Now I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Right. I don't coach anyone one-on-one anymore. Basically speaking.
Yeah.
So all my new icons are all billionaires and business. CEOs, especially Elon Musk. This guy is.
Yes, yes, same here, same here. I love doing in person, love it, love it, love it, but I'm really slowly graduating from it, and I've been announcing it, especially with my products, my app, and the other work that I do, workshops. As much as we love one-on-one, but we want to reach to more people.
Yeah, and I think that as the technology gets better, it'll be even more and more effective. I think. I mean, it's just natural. That's just the nature of this technology. It's just become so much more nuanced. It can discern so much more precision. You know, like we're coaches and you're a hypnotherapist. We pay attention to things like breathing, right? As a person breathes, right? But I think that soon enough down the road, technology will be able to do that, and then make an adjustment with that.
Or even if the technology is programmed with something like asking open-ended questions using strategic inquiry, the Socratic method, right? Something that we as coaches are trained to do. The robot can be trained and just quickly asking these questions to help the subject think through things, you know, open question, and you're like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, I got a question. It's a good question, you know?
Absolutely. So let's get to, all right, it's time for a commercial break. So let's just have that real quick, a word from our sponsor, and we'll come right back. And I want to know if a person can be hypnotized online or via the app. All right, we'll just take a quick break and come right back with Elena Mosaner.
This episode of Self-Help Coaching is brought to you by Proficio. The pandemic has painfully shown how we must have money put away, not just for a rainy day, but for a whole bunch of them. You must accrue wealth to really be okay. Visit www.perficio.io. That's PERFICIO.io, where you can truly learn financial principles like never before so that you can have the future you really want and need.
You're listening to the Self-Help Coaching Podcast. I'm here with Elena Mosaner. We're talking about AlphaMind and self-hypnosis. And my next question to her is, can you be hypnotized online or via the app, a general person?
Yes, like we started talking earlier, right? You can be hypnotized by the app. You close your eyes, you're looking at the video, like the AlphaMind is offering right now, excuse me, verbal inductions that are read by me, narrated by me. We also have just music. We have nothing. We have nothing, meaning like just taking deep breaths, where I guide the user. And we have videos, those hypnotic videos, which you can listen, and then your affirmations are being read to you. You can be hypnotized online through the app. And it's just like I said, like we're hypnotized by, I have to say that the other day, I literally bought something on Instagram. I'm like, damn it, it happened, you know, there was like a little funnel. I'm like, I bought it. And then I backtracked. I'm like, what happened here? What this step? This was a very sophisticated marketing campaign. It worked on me. But I'm glad I did it because it was almost like going through it and wanting to understand what's driving me. It's not like it's a lot of money, but still, I was hypnotized.
So let me see if I understand this clearly. You made a purchase that happened so effortlessly that you didn't even remember doing it necessarily until like, wait a second, did I just buy something? Is that what happened?
Yeah, well, it happened so quickly. I mean, I remember doing it because I remember the excitement. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. That's great. And testimonials, and they're real, not like polished testimonials. They're all real. This is real people. Oh my God, this. And I'm like, I bought it, and I'm sitting down. Wait a second, that was really sophisticated. The videos were bad quality to make it look like they're real people, but they're actors. You know, I was just like, I went through the whole thing. I got the product. Good quality. I'm sure a lot of money is invested into it, but I don't want to use this product. So
you think that you were purposely hypnotized by either the marketer or the company and to go to the buying state and to buy?
Yeah, it was an influence. It was definitely an influence. Yeah. And I'm aware of those things, and it was just on the background. I knew I was doing it, and I knew I was excited, but I wanted to go through that. So that was hypnosis in some ways.
Yes, it is. And certainly. And, you know, a lot of people are fearful or intimidated about being persuaded, but it's true that we all want to be persuaded for better things, right?
Yeah.
Right? I want to persuade people to do better, and I want to be persuaded for myself to do better and be better. So that's
Exactly.
not. It's not a, people think, oh, she was persuaded. Well, that's a good thing, as long as it was, it was a good outcome there.
Totally. You're making a lot of good points. And this is a great point. It's not that all influence is bad influence. You want to see a workshop leader and you're being influenced and guided and persuaded, and you do research. You're inspired by that person or that company, and it's working for you.
Now, the first course that we made with Auxilium was a home study course for financial independence by Benjamin Franklin, The Way to Wealth, because financial wealth and being rich and financial independence is very damn important in society.
I agree.
In the jungle, you can maybe not, you don't need it, but in society comes in damn handy, right? Instead of being a working stiff, as it were, you want to have some money put away and do some things that makes life more enjoyable. So now I know of lots of coaches and content creators that make courses for that end, for financial gain. Now, what my question to you is, what can you use self-hypnosis for? And I want to hear about financial gain, especially.
Yeah. Sure. Great question. And I so agree with you. Financial independence, there's so many ways to look at it. Financial independence, being independent from your parents, being independent from certain job that you have, or your partners, it looks like we're talking about this abundance and flourishing, right? You're prosperous in a sense. And it just, is that right? Is that what you mean by financial independence?
Sure. Absolutely.
So, and everybody's story is different with money. Some folks, and again, I worked with some of those financial issues, and I've seen it in real life as well. There can be situations when someone is unable to manage money. You can't manage money properly. You're spending too much. You're not able to save, or you think saving is a bad thing, that it's for, it's not for you, or it's just, there's a joy of, in buying things. It can be that. For other things, for other people, I saw that, there are fears with having money in the bank because, long time ago, your ancestors have lost it very quickly. So the fear of losing it, being hurt and having that loss. So the person would be staying in that place where, it's better not to have money. I don't want to experience that loss. So you kind of go day by day, having, no abundance in your life. So different stories, different situations. You can work with yourself. You can work with a practitioner. You can take a course and you can identify what your patterns are, what your limiting beliefs are. For instance, for me, coming from Russia, from Soviet Union, there were very, very strong beliefs, and from that place, and that I had to work with personally, using hypnotherapy and self-hypnosis. Money was associated with something bad.
Were you still in Russia during the communist reign?
Yes, exactly. It was Soviet Union. It was a difficult time. Soviet Union broke right around that. Then 90s, people didn't have much. There's scarcity. People really, there's no toilet paper, no butter. You had to buy butter and present a little stamp to get butter. There's like not enough. But anyways, what was interesting is that in Soviet Union, because the idea was that we're all the same, we all have to be the same, government is helping us. The mentality was that rich people, and especially America, was considered that kind of country. Oh, they're all doing drugs, blah, blah, blah. That's what the idea was. They're too free, hippies. We are, we're good. It's not good to be rich. Don't say too much. Don't do too much. Don't stand up too much. You have to be quiet. Don't make too much money. Making money is bad. You don't want to be that kind of person. You've got to be humble. Yes, it's okay. It's good to be humble, but if something guilt is associated with money, that's something you have to work through, and I personally had to work with that.
Right. And, that's something that I totally identify with. One of the things that some people said they admired about me is that, I was happy-go-lucky and I get caught up with making money and business. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. So I wasn't caught up in all that, But you know what happened? I didn't make any money because I wasn't thinking about it, and I had an issue with it. And so I stayed here when I wanted more. So,
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to get more until I changed some things in my mind, how I felt and thought about money. And, I was, so I was like, yeah, and then I come to really understand something about the rich is that a lot of people hate the rich primarily because they ain't one of them.
Well, that's the problem. You need to get out of that rich, they are rich, they mindset. They. You want to be happy. I'm happy for Kim Kardashian. She's amazing. She's doing what she's doing. Good for her. I'm happy for Oprah. I'm happy for all these people that look lucky. They just have this abundance. And instead of looking, oh, they're this, they're that, just I'm actually in awe. I'm curious. Wow, how is it that things are happening so easily? Looks like it. They're just managing businesses. They're making things happen. That's amazing, So you have to put yourself. We are all connected. We're all one network. I am where I am in life. I am doing what I'm doing. I'm at the right place, and it's not about they or me and this isolation sort of thing,
Fantastic. Okay, let's take our final break to hear from our sponsor, and we'll come back with the final segment to hear more from Elena Mosaner about AlphaMind.
This episode of Self-Help Coaching is brought to you by Perficio. People start something, then something comes up, or they need a break or even a vacation, and they often never get back on track. Perficio is designed to allow all of this. Visit www.perficio.io. That's PERFICIO.io, where you can live your life as you learn and make progress toward your life-changing goals.
You're listening to the Self-Help Coaching Podcast with me, your host, Tony Petroza, and our wonderful guest, Elena Mosaner, an incredible hypnotherapist who has made an incredible app that is, that's been intriguing me for some time, but now I'm going to look much more into it because it's, now that I understand it a little bit more clearly, it's something that seems very valuable. So my final question to you, Elena, is what made you want to create the AlphaMind app?
I had, like we started talking about it last time, I had certain beliefs, certain patterns in my mindset that I need to work out. And that was in my early 20s. The money mindset, obviously, I came to America. I started my life from scratch here in this country, and I could see the difference in thinking. I knew that something had to be changed in my mentality. Then the fear of driving. I had a debilitating fear of driving. So I had to work on that, and I am driving. I'm here in California right now. And,
not in New York anymore.
Not in New York anymore.
You gotta drive.
I miss New York. New York is great. So yeah, if you're driving, and then I was taking acting classes in my 20s, and I wanted to have confidence. I was taking acting classes at the HB studio and all lots of different. There's a school of film and television. I went to school of film and television in New York City as well. So, and to me, I wanted to hypnotize myself, to be spontaneous, to be more open, to be able to improvise. There's, improvisation is a really awesome exercise for actors, and also to be confident when I was doing monologues. I was constantly programming my mind, and I wanted to grow and understand. And another thing that got me really interested, is that when I was 5 years old, my mom took me to see a stage hypnotist, and I was really mesmerized by that performance. I remember that woman. She was tall, beautiful. She took the stage, started hypnotizing the adults to act like children. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm a 5-year-old kid. I remember standing up in awe. Like I stood off my seat, and I was just like, what is going on? Why are they acting like kids? Like pretending to play with a toy in the sandbox, speaking in kids' voices. So I wanted to understand what would happen on stage. When I was in New York, I came across a little ad, and I was like 22, and I'm like, this is it. Take the course. Not only will you decipher the magic, this mystery from when you were 5, but also you can hypnotize yourself to, live a better life here in this country, to be more
That's
confident.
We have a lot in common. I'm an actor as well. And in fact, my acting mentor, George Morrison, is the guy who introduced NLP to me. He used it in acting teaching. And George Morrison was the guy behind Dustin Hoffman, Gene Hackman. I mean, he's
Mhm.
the guy, not one
Yeah,
that teaches,
yeah.
he's their prime teacher. So he blew me away, just in teaching me acting, but also NLP and this whole other way of thinking,
Yeah.
But there's such a joy in acting and expression and playing a part.
Oh my God, it's so. Are you doing it now, or do you think you'll be doing it again?
No, I'll be getting back into it. I'm not doing it now, but right now I'm focused on
Yeah,
auxilium, my
good for
business.
you, good for you, good for you.
Uh,
But
I'll be,
it's awesome. Yeah,
I'll be getting back into it because it's really, really, I'm an entrepreneur, but really I identify even more so as an artist.
yeah,
To me, I see life as art.
yeah.
Whether I'm writing, acting. I used to be a singer in a punk rock band, a
Mhm.
terrible one though, a terrible singer, but a great front man, but a terrible singer. Could hardly stay in key. That's all right. It was screaming. It was hardcore music. But acting, I'm a pretty decent one, and I love to express, and to just get into the life of something and really bring it forth truthfully. It's so wonderful. And I have a bit of a conflict. I mean, I love acting in front of the camera because you do it once and it's done, in terms of,
Yeah.
the production, and it's awesome. And it's alive for forever. But there's nothing like doing it on stage in front of
Oh
a live
yeah.
audience, and that energy, that
Yeah.
community between you and the
Oh
audience.
yeah. Connection. Yeah, with your audience.
Right. And it's this creation.
Yeah, creation. You see what's interesting is that as an actor, you allow yourself to be an instrument and you create through you. You channel a new character. And as an entrepreneur, you are also a creator. You create instruments, you allow yourself to sort of channel this new technological elements into this world, because everything that appears here, like the phone, the desk, first it happened in somebody's mind.
Absolutely.
Everything happens in the mind. Everything that we, millions and millions of years ago, these things weren't here. They're only here because somebody thought of them through your head. So this is what you're doing with your apps and projects. And me
Totally.
too.
We're living in the results of thousands of minds of people who preceded us. If not for
Yeah.
their minds, this wouldn't look anything like it does now. And now
Yeah.
you and I are using our minds, creating.
Yeah.
That 100 years from now, people can say, "Oh yeah, Elena Mosaner and Tony Petroza. This is because of them."
and it's important to focus on creating things that are for this better life, for the environment, for people's health. So this is something that I'm focusing on, leaving something behind, something that has improved somebody's life.
Absolutely, I concur wholeheartedly. My final comment before we give you a chance to say goodbye is I love how your product is called AlphaMind. Now, my company is Auxilium. My product is Proficio. These are Latin words. But yours is Alpha. Now, people are familiar with alphabet, but that's actually a Greek word, right?
Yeah.
I love Greek. I love Latins. I love Greek. I love, I'm a great student of ancient Rome and the ancient Mediterranean world, primarily
Mhm,
Romans
mhm.
and the Greeks, cradle of Western
I
civilization.
can see that in the background. You got the Romans and Greeks there.
Oh, you got to see my living room. My entire living room is decorated as ancient Rome. I have columns in each corner. I have suits of armor, real armor, all the Roman guys and all that. So
Yeah.
very
You
into
must have
it.
had some past life in Rome.
You know what? I really believe that.
Yeah.
And I consider myself a Christian, but I am very open-minded, and I believe in reincarnation. And I'll tell you real quickly, when I returned from visiting Italy, I started redecorating and renovating my entire living room, almost without making the decision, into ancient Rome. But prior to that, when I was an adolescent, I read Greek mythology all on my own. I mean,
Yeah.
part of my curriculum I went to a private school, but I just totally read these books voraciously. And when I'm a scuba diver, I was down in Mexico, and we visited a Mayan ruin, Tulum. And when I went there,
Love Tulum. Yeah.
you were there.
Yeah.
I fainted, but I didn't lose consciousness. I
Hmm.
just laid on the path I had no energy to stand up, and I looked at everything. I saw everything as it was 1,500 years ago. So
I mean,
then,
the Chichen Itzas and all those pyramids.
yeah, I saw it all right in that moment, and then also when I was riding, I was riding quads down in Acamal, you know, that area of Mexico. Something popped into my head that there's something there I got to find. So now that I said all those things, I suspect that I was a Roman 2,500 years ago, or Greek 2,500 years ago, a Roman 2,000 years ago, a Mayan 1,500 years ago. I believe that. I have no evidence than just the stuff I just told you, but I suspect that. And I've been told by people they think I'm an old soul. So I believe that.
I'm really open to it. There's yes, there is no proof, but I'm really open to it. And there's a really good book by Anita Morjani called "Dying to Be Me," and she had a clinical death after having a stage 4 cancer. And in that clinical death, she describes she went into so many different places. She said there's no time in that other space. It's almost like doing a psychedelic experience. She said it's like she saw her brother on the plane coming to see her. She just saw her doctors in the other room, and then she saw past lives, but they were happening at the same time. It's already as if they're already happening. So that was interesting. I was like, that's interesting. By the way, after that clinical death, she completely recovered, and she's talking about this experience. So anything's possible.
Okay.
I want to tell you about the alpha. You asked me a question. Alpha, why it's called alpha. Alpha is the first letter of the alphabet, right? Greek alphabet. And alpha is you. I am the author. So I want you to think of yourself as you're the author. You've put yourself first in a sense that you're authoring your life, as opposed to having someone else author your life, your past, your negative experiences, or not having certain enough experiences, or being influenced by culture or society. I want you to learn how to discern your environment and really and be your own alpha in that regard. And second idea is that alpha state is the state of focus, heightened focus. So AlphaMind.
I love the double entendre, the multiple meanings, and I love everything about it. It's fantastic. You have been a most wonderful guest. And would you like to say anything else more to our audience?
This is it. I'm really excited. It was nice to meet you, that you're there in New York. I'm here in California. So it's really, I had an amazing conversation with you, and I do have a lot of things to offer to your audience.
Please do. Let's hear it.
So you can use the app for free for 2 weeks. We extended it to 2 weeks now. So for free to 2 weeks, for 2 weeks, you can create one audio session. Now you can also go to my website, elenamosaner.com, and on the website you can sign up for newsletter. You receive stress management audio sessions, 1 hour self-hypnosis course, completely free, and a booklet with affirmations and inductions if you want to start making your own sessions.
Wow, those are great gifts. So again, go to elenamosaner.com. That's ELENAMOSANER.com. No double letters. It's elenamosaner.com, and get your free gifts. That's some great value. I'm gonna do that. I'll be one of the people doing that. So I appreciate that very much. And I want to say that and I've already said that we have a lot in common, but I love what you're doing. You're taking change work and modalities of therapy and coaching and just in all generally helping people, and you put that into technology, not just because to make it relevant today, but just because there's so many benefits that to a person because of the technology that they don't get from the live person. Indeed, when I created Proficio, I saw that as being a benefit per se, that it's not a live person, because while there's nothing like a live person also brings with them themselves. There's like, oh, I got to be accountable to my hypnotherapist. I don't want to fail, to my coach. They don't want that scrutiny. They don't want that judgment, And so there are lots of forces always at play.
Different things on the menu. You can choose whatever you want today. Choose something else tomorrow. It's a variety of things. That's all.
So I love it. Yeah, you and I are pioneers in change work technology, and they're going to be talking about us, Elena.
Yes, in a positive way, and I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to be able to do the work that I'm doing, to have the support that I have from my family and this country, to be doing what I love and helping people.
That's great. And you just thought, we were speaking before the podcast, that you got 2 children. One's 9 months. You got a wonderful family.
Yes. Actually 7-month-old. She was just born. 7-month-old. The other one is 2.5, 2 girls, and I'm happy being a mom. It's the most incredible experience, I think, and I love it. And I'm able to do my work, so that's good.
Oh, it's awesome. You got the American dream. I'm so glad that you're here doing it and participating and contributing. And it's really
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you so
So
much.
thank you very much for being here. And would you like to say goodbye to our audience?
Goodbye, audience. I hope to see you. Try the app, and I'm here if you have any questions. So have a great day, everybody.
Great. And remember, every one of us is responsible for ourselves, and we can all use some help. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Help Coaching Podcast, where insights, attitudes, and methods for success get illuminated. Learn what leaders and change workers have done and are doing now to create magnificent futures. Remember to visit our website at self-helpcoaching.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Self-Help Coaching Podcast.